day 3 of the High End Munich 2023.
Yes.
And what a day it was, once again. A very, very, very busy day. It's the first consumer day.
It's crazy.
It took a lot of time to get into the parking space.
90 minutes. It was. Yeah,
and
we
then
came
it was
in late.
Elbowing in through the crowds.
Yeah, but it was also again a nice day. I had a lot of fun this High End. Yes, it's tiring. Yes, we're pretty much beaten up right now.
Yep.
He had to recharge even. Yeah. Like infuse some sugars. Me too, actually. But I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I had to recharge. So power was a thing today.
Power was a thing today. Yeah. We started up with Blitzer this morning, 11 o'clock, I think it was.
We were
just in time.
Yeah.
And it was a really open and nice interview about his new power supply, the Statement. And the cool thing was, we were talking about clean power and reference planes and star grounding and stuff like that. But after the interview, we talked about the influence of a power supply on streamers and stuff. And our audience knows that we do a lot with that. And everything he told was actually what we heard.
Yeah.
And it gave me hope. I don't know why, but I thought, yes, finally there are serious manufacturers that not only measure, they also listen, and they try their equipment on various other devices. And we came to the same conclusion that it is audible. But he was also really reasonable. Then he said, you know what, it also has to do with how the device is built, that you're connecting it to, clock implementation, grounding implementation. So he was also very realistic about what his device can do. And I like that.
I think the special thing about Blitzer is they build balanced power supplies.
Yeah, but that's also in the interview, but okay.
Yeah, that's in the interview. But I think they're the only one that they actually make balanced power supplies for aftermarket upgrades of streamers or whatever you would like to put it on. Yeah. And we're going to test it.
Yeah, we're going to get a sample. Yep. And we're going to write all about the balanced toroidal transformer. Yep. And the two grounding systems he built in. It's a ground plane and a star ground and what it does and how it works. He didn't really want to tell me how he implemented it because it's his secret. Yeah. Well, I understand you need your own secrets and your own fairy dust around your product, of course. So that was Blitzer. Yeah.
So then we went over to another power manufacturer, Isotech. We visited Isotech.
He had a lot of new products.
Yeah. He kept on going, pulling out new products.
Well, the main thing was Isotech launched his Series 5, the version 5 of their power products last year. Yeah. It started off with the Aquarius and the Titan, and it has a system link. And that system link makes it possible to link all products together. So you get one grounding point, which helps with noise and ground loops and stuff like that. And all the smaller products, like the Sirius, Polaris. Yeah. The Sirius is the model above the Aquarius, but Polaris-like products now have a system link. So you can start off with a 6-socket power distributor, and if you need 2 extra, you can do a system link to another one, and so you can link your whole system together. But there was also, and it didn't have a name yet, there's a voltage correction system coming up next. We saw a sort of beta product, and what it can do is if the voltage is too low, it will correct up to 230 volts, but also if it's too high, it can regulate it to 230 volts. And if it's way too high or way too low, it just shuts down the system gracefully so that you don't get your system damaged, your equipment. So that's the other product. And the Sirius is now also launched. It's kind of a a product above Aquarius.
Okay.
So you have Aquarius and Titan, but Titan was the sort of a halo product. Sirius is now above the Aquarius, and it's also a version 5. So
yeah,
that's a lot of new products.
Yeah, I couldn't get a word of the interview
no,
because it was in the main hall.
And I hope it's okay.
And the only thing that I was trying to do is preventing people from walking in front of the camera. So that was a crazy interview.
People are crazy.
Yeah.
They just walk right through the shots. So if it happens in an interview, we're sorry, but we can't help it.
No.
No.
Then we went over to see Hypex.
Yeah. I feel proud when I talk to Hypex.
Yeah, a Dutch company.
Yeah, it's Dutch. They have their headquarters in Groningen. It's up in the north of the Netherlands. It's a pretty large team now with developers that have, well, produced Nilai. You like Nilai?
I certainly do, yeah.
I like Nilai as well. It's a great product with a great price. Around 1,500 euros including VAT. You get a 2-channel power amp. Same for the preamp. And they're also very proud that they have Nilai now.
Yeah.
It's competing with Purify, of course. And they say it's not a competition. I think it's healthy competition that we have in the Netherlands because, well, Purify is not. No, it's not Dutch.
It's Danish.
It's Danish, but they had Bruno Putsies, of course, in there, and that's a Belgium guy, by the way. So don't say it's Dutch. But they're both very good companies that produce high-end Class D amps.
The interesting thing I think we picked up from one of the designers of Nilai is that they're still working on the next iterations, and they're still improving on the products that they have just designed.
Yeah.
So it's. I think Class D is going rapidly at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see where it ends because it gets better and better and better and better.
I had an interesting talk with Moon. I'm not sure if we said it in the first recap, but it was about the difference in Class D and Class A and AB. Very interesting talk about the differences in performance, and it all has to do with bandwidth. But the funny thing is, when I was interviewing Hypex, they were also talking about bandwidth.
Yeah.
Because normal Class D has sort of a slope that's already starting before 20 kilohertz. So it's not straight from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Nilai actually is straight to 60 around. And we measured it indeed up to 60 kilohertz. So that's really, that's impressive. Because that's one of the hardest things to do is create bandwidth, including low noise floors with Class D. That's the biggest challenge they have, I think. So that was funny to hear from one of the engineers that they managed that. And indeed, they're proud, and they should be. It's a very nice product. So we have an interview with them.
We have an interview with them where we ask the question that is often asked also to us.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Encore X and Nilai?
Yeah.
And that question is answered in the interview, so you have to watch the interview.
You have to watch the interview
to get
that.
the answer.
Yes.
And then we had the last interview of the day, which was with MSB, the deck manufacturer.
Yeah, they have the Director, which is a new product, which is kind of a sort of an isolation device for networked audio that shields the network from the deck, if I understand correctly. I'm not going to go in depth because I don't have the experience with MSB to go into detail with this, but we get a review sample and we interviewed the guy that explains what it does and how it works, kind of. I asked some questions about isolation and noise getting into the decks, because that's one of the biggest challenges every deck manufacturer now has, including network devices, is keeping out the noise, which was also a theme.
Yep. So I think if we look back on 3 days of the high end, there was one theme running across, I think, in the digital domain, where we interviewed a lot of people. One of them was power, power, and power. The importance of power on digital devices. And the second one was the integration of the streamer, the deck, and the preamplifier. we saw several devices which are streamer, DAC and preamplifier in one.
Yeah.
High-end products.
Yeah, which intrigues me because normally high-end is all separate boxes.
Yes.
And now they're all integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a theme. Yeah.
So, looking back on these 3 days, what are your impressions?
I have hope for the audio industry.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. I made a video about that. I'm worried about the high-end industry, hi-fi industry, and I'm still worried in some instances because it's a niche that's getting smaller.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the separate boxes, big loudspeakers, extremely expensive stuff, and it gets all more expensive and more expensive. I ignored all the extremely expensive stuff. I'm not interested. What I am interested in is to see where it's going, and I think we've seen some very nice producers of hi-fi equipment that take their job seriously. When we interviewed them, we got real answers on real existing problems, and they showed me at least that they can think outside the box and outside their measuring equipment. And I think that's really important because our ears are still the most sensitive pieces of measuring equipment we have.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things we can't explain, but we do hear. And even Hypex said, we hear differences in capacitors, but we have no clue how to measure it.
Yeah.
And it was really funny to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like there in terms of R&D, and they don't know.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of discovery in that field, but also I thought that what I found was that all the digital companies that we spoke to and the engineers, they all are very realistic about the state of digital, about the problems they experience. Yeah. A lot of them brought up topics that we already discovered in the investigations that we did and the listening test and the comparison test that we are doing. So, and they try to find answers to fight those problems or work around those problems or find solutions for those problems.
And I was hoping in my interview that they could tell me what's going on, but they don't know either.
They don't know either. But they're still making progress. So all with the importance of power, the importance of power on digital, the importance of noise, isolation, was a very important topic. All of the digital people we talked to and the engineers we talked to talked about isolation of electrical noise as being an important source of problems with the digital to analog conversion. So
it's more than ones and zeros, people.
Yeah. So you see that all the things and the themes and the problems that we report about are real.
Yeah, they're real.
And those real problems are being tackled by the engineers from those companies, and they make progress.
They do make progress. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's also the cool thing of this industry is that there are so many small companies that are not that small, because let's be honest, MSB is not a small company, but they're investigating in such an interesting niche. I mean, who cares about noise in their DACs? We do, but they're actually aware of the problem and they're trying to tackle those problems, and they're hard to solve.
Yep.
It is really hard.
Also, I think that the integration of the streamer, the network component
in the preamps,
together with the DAC, together with analog inputs for playing your vinyl.
Don't forget the analog inputs.
The analog inputs were everywhere this year,
and with a pass-through, so no AD conversion, clean analog throughputs.
I think that's also a sign that they are starting to address the complexity of actually using those digital devices. I mean, we use them every day. We go around with apps and we do all kinds of stuff with coax cables or USB cables or whatever. We need to connect our stuff. But most people just want to plug in and play and have one app or one device to do it all. And I clearly see a trend that the market is starting to address those needs.
Yeah, and also in the higher end, because Orender Grimm Mu2, DA
Auralic.
converter, Auralic with a G3.
Moon with their new streamer.
Yeah,
decks.
the North collection.
Yep.
I mean, 10 years back, no way.
No.
And now they're seeing the light, and there is a market, and people want ease of use. They want high quality reproduction. They just want a high-end device, but all in one. And honestly, I understand.
Yep.
I want it at home.
Yep.
I would like to. What was your highlight?
My highlight. Well, I think that the most important thing, or the nicest thing that we had this high end as compared to last year.
Yeah.
I think we had a lot of great interviews with a lot of technical people who really knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed those interviews as well, because we certainly did.
We have less videos.
Yep.
But I think they're more interesting.
I'm pretty sure they're more interesting. At least we find them.
I found them more interesting.
So let us know, please, what you think.
We would like the feedback on that. Yeah.
And then again, there was one product which really captured my heart.
Yeah, I know which one.
That was an easy one. We went to see the Grimm Mu2.
2 times.
2 times, yeah. The first time, on the first day, I heard it, and then Jaap said, I
heard
know.
the potential,
yeah,
but I wasn't convinced, and it had nothing to do with the device, but more with the demo.
Yep.
Okay, I'm convinced now.
We went in there for the second time.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing. That was really amazing. But if digital is going to sound like this, I don't know how to convince people then that digital has problems. I mean, this is out of this world.
It made me think about something Ilko Grimm said in an interview we did a while back.
Yeah.
He said, I want to make digital sound as good as analog. Well, I think they pretty much succeeded with the Mu2, in a way.
It's not like sounding better than analog.
No, not better.
It's or sound like analog.
Exactly. It's just as fluid.
It's different in the sense that I was sitting there in the front row again, and they played a beautiful recording from
Bert van der Wolf.
Bert van Wolf,
yeah.
The Nederlands Philharmonisch Orkest, the Netherlands Philharmonic Orchestra, and it was the first symphony of Prokofiev.
I liked it.
And I was sitting there in the front once again, and I heard the details in the music, which I only hear when I sit in front of a stage in a concert hall.
Yeah.
From the orchestra, and that's an incredible experience.
But also an incredibly good recording.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But then again, to be able, I mean, the goal of hi-fi reproduction is always the claim or the achievement they try to get to is as good as in real life.
Yeah.
And we all know that's impossible.
It is.
Just because of acoustics and everything else, you can't. And sitting there in front of speakers in a demo room in a noisy environment like here,
pretty bad.
It's not like being in a concert hall. It's not the same experience, but I heard details, small details in the strings, in the wood players, which is very hard to reproduce in hi-fi gear. And with the Mu2, they do. And the crazy thing is that it sounded so natural and so effortless that you didn't even think about it.
No, it was really easy listening.
It was really easy listening, and that's impressive.
I was captured by the voice. It was it was Portishead, a cover. Sorry, I'm getting tired. It was a cover of Portishead. I don't like covers, and especially not Portishead. But I was listening to the voice, and it was so pure. That's what caught me. Like, this is really good. And I like the classical piece, but I listen differently than you. You know that. I was more intrigued by the depth. The depth in the stereo image was really layered.
Yeah,
you could pinpoint it it was amazing.
But they had crazy speakers set up
the
there.
Imaging
Imaging was like unbelievable.
I've ever heard before.
No, that's but
No.
They told us that they brought those speakers because
of the imaging.
Because of the imaging,
Yeah,
and
it's
those are the speakers that they
ridiculously
use
good.
to tune and measure and calibrate the systems. So I get it. So what was for you? Remarkable.
Not a demo per se. I was quite convinced by the MU2 the second time, but they also said they left it on overnight now because it's way better. The amplifiers need time to warm up and the system needs time to warm up. But yeah, that was great. I had the most fun in the interviews we did. I didn't listen to the systems that much.
No.
I was more into getting information out of the technicians and see where this hi-fi industry is going a little bit. I don't have I can't predict the future, but I was hopeful this time. But I had the most fun during the interview with Garth Powell.
Yeah, that
was pretty obvious.
That was pretty obvious, yes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun talking to him. I had a lot of fun with Blitzer as well. Yep. It was a great interview, nice guy, and yeah, just overall, I like talking to all the technicians. But those two were my highlights in the interviews. I'm just a nerd. I want to talk to other nerds.
Yeah.
And I like that. And the way we can then click and level and get to the core of some issues in designing equipment, because it's really hard to design a new product. And sharing that is really great. Yeah.
I think the opportunity of the High End Munich to meet all those people, to interview them in such a short time, and have all these conversations would give us so much new insights.
Gives me energy.
Gives us energy. Yeah, that's true. Even if we're very tired after 3 days of walking around here.
Yeah.
So we're not finished yet.
No.
After we say goodbye, we go home to the apartment, and then we're gonna
type stuff, edit stuff, some dinner.
Have some dinner and upload it once again. So tomorrow morning you will be seeing this.
Yeah,
probably. So yeah, next year once again, High End Munich.
Thank you for your energy.
Yeah.
And your camera work. He's the guy that filmed it.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. It was all in focus and the colors were great. Yeah. So, but I hope to see you soon online and in our next live stream maybe.
In our next live stream, yeah,
yes.
That's true. Okay, bye-bye from Munich.